Raeese the Beast Aleem is joining us in a few minutes. I'm excited about this one. I know Beeb's excited about this one. Can't wait to talk to him. Yeah. All right. So, hey, Beeb, we're joined by the Beast.
What's going on, my man?
How are you? Beast, how are you?
I'm
Raeese Aleem. How are you, man?
I'm doing pretty good. No complaints. You know, I'm doing good.
No complaints. We all got complaints.
Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of complaints. I need a fight date. You know, I got a lot of complaints.
Right? Yeah, what's going on with that? What's going on with your fights, man? I mean, obviously I know the COVID situation, but have you heard like when you're gonna fight next?
Honestly, no, I haven't. You know, I've been in the gym. I've been prepping and preparing. I'm hoping to fight in August. I wouldn't be surprised if I got a call in July, but you know, we'll see. I just need a date, and you know, I'll be ready.
Now, February, you made your television debut. Is that correct on Showbox?
Yes. Yep.
Are you heading back there, or do you see yourself on Showbox, on Showtime, or are you going to Fox? Where's the next fight going to be televised, you think?
I believe the next fight should be Showtime. I believe I'll be the main event on Showtime.
Yep.
You know, BBC and everything. I like those guys. Everything's going good. I believe it's going to be Showtime. I'm kind of open to other possibilities. It just kind of depends on where the opportunity is.
So let me ask you this. So you said you're going to be headlining. Now, would you take like a co-feature, or if you were on a bigger card on Fox where you can get more exposure, would you be open to taking a card on Fox even if you weren't the headliner, or would you rather? Are you kind of hell bent on being the headliner because once you get that status, you want to hold on to it?
He's the headliner, son. He's the headliner.
Well, you know, definitely want to be the headliner, but it also depends on that fight, you know. So I wouldn't mind being the co-feature, but it just kind of depends on that fight. Now, if that fight elevates my career, then ultimately I'm still going to be the headliner, just on a wider.
Well, because Fox is such a huge platform, I would think that, you know, that may sway you to go to Fox instead of on Showtime. No disrespect to Showtime, I'm just saying Fox is much bigger.
Just Showtime.
Right.
You know.
Well, I love Showtime, you know, and to be the headliner on Showtime would be pretty awesome to watch. You know. But also just depends. So I can't say no to anything. You know, I'm ready to fight anybody.
Slim pickings right now, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, well, it kind of works in my favor because a lot of people are ducking and dodging, and it's like, yo, we got to get the fans good fights. You can't run forever, you know. You can't duck everybody. So what can you do? Fight the best.
That's it, man. That's it. You know, I saw this guy fight. I was looking it up, and I saw you fight in your fourth pro fight against Devontae Allen in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Yes, sir.
I was there at that card. Saw you fight and everything like that. And I was like, all right. So there you go, man.
That's what's up, yo. That's what's up. See, that was I was undefeated. You know, early in my career. I'm not scared. I'm ready to fight anybody. I fought another undefeated fighter. You know, I believe I actually dropped him in the first round too. Yeah, I dropped him in the first round.
Unanimous. Yeah, I remember it was unanimous.
In his hometown, Adrian Broner undercard. You know, hostile territory. You know. It's just after that, nobody wanted to fight me. It was great for my career, but at the same time, it kind of hindered it because nobody would fight me. And you know, I stayed in the gym. I ended up getting with a big time manager. I thought my career would kind of take off, and didn't really go that route. But here we are.
Now you got a background in martial arts, correct?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever thought about going into MMA? Like before you got into boxing, was there ever, you know, a choice on the table? Am I going to go boxing or am I going to go MMA? Did you ever think of that? And what made you decide to go?
At the time, no, because MMA wasn't really big at that time, you know. And plus, I always knew that there's more money in boxing. You know, I loved karate. Karate was super fun. I would love to fight a high level opponent in MMA. You know, I do it for fun, but obviously, you know, we're doing it to win. But you know, for fun, oh yeah, 100% I'd do it. But career wise, boxing, this is what I'm about.
Wow. So you were a black belt, right? You were a black belt like by a 12, right? Is that what I saw? 12?
Yeah, I was 12 turning 13, and then I started boxing at 14. Yep. Traveling around, go to tournaments, all that. It was a bunch of fun.
Wow.
Now you're from Michigan, which is a great area, a lot of rich history in boxing in the Midwest. But we're seeing a lot of guys, not just you, but a lot of guys moving to Vegas. Now, what is it about Vegas that attracts you? Because again, like I said, that area that you came out of is very rich in boxing history, and I'm sure there was a lot of fighters that you could have got some work with. What made you go to Vegas?
Well, Vegas, I believe, is like the mecca for boxing. Outside of the weather, outside of the distractions, you get a lot of high level fighters that live here, that come through here. It's big on tourists, so you might run into a fighter from Australia. It's just a whole nother style, but you get to absorb that, and just being around all the former world champions, all the world champion trainers and stuff. It's just stuff that you soak in. So I believe Vegas is definitely the mecca for boxing, and ever since I moved here, I believe it definitely elevated me as a man and as a fighter.
Now, you're from Muskegon in Michigan. So what was it? I mean, do you know anybody out in Las Vegas, or you just said, hey, I'm just going to make the move, I'm gone?
Well, my trainer at the time, who is still a part of my team, Terry Markowski, he's like a father figure to me. We traveled out to Vegas once, and we trained and stuff like that. We trained with I can't remember who it was, but I kind of beat the guy up. He was undefeated. He had like 14 fights, and and it let us know like, okay, I can really do this to a high level guy. And then went back to Muskegon, and Nonito Donaire was training for a fight, and he flew me out. So I stayed in Vegas for 30 days just by myself. I didn't leave the hotel room. The only time I left the hotel room was to train. It was like super lonely. It was crazy, but yeah, so that kind of like sparked my mind. Like, okay, if I'm going to continue to do this, I'm probably going to have to make a move to Vegas to really do it, and this was like 6-7 years ago. That seed was planted.
So how do you stay, like, because you're in Vegas, right? I mean, you're right there. I mean, I know you don't live on the Strip, obviously. Nobody just lives on the Strip, But how do you avoid those pitfalls there? I mean, it's a fun place to be. At least for tourists, it's a fun place to be. A lot of girls, a lot of gambling, a lot of everything. You know what I mean? How do you just stay? How do you stay on that straight and narrow and not get tempted by all that?
It's business before pleasure. I'm not where I want to be at in my life, my personal life, my boxing life, and it's business before pleasure. So like you can go out on a Monday, Tuesday, whatever, and it's like a Friday, Saturday night. So there's a lot of distractions if you let yourself be distracted. So I just try to stay grounded, and ultimately I have a goal that I'm like really trying to accomplish.
Yeah,
so that's just kind of is in the back of my mind, and I just hold on to that.
So let me ask you, like, how far away, and there's really no way to tell because of everything going on, but your feeling with your preparedness and everything like that, how far away realistically are you from a title shot?
Honestly, I feel like I'm like 2 fights away. I want to fight twice this year and early next year, get that world title shot. If I had the opportunity to do that this year, I got the pen in my hand, I'm signing it. I feel like I'm ready. It's just all about the opportunity. And that is, the politics behind that.
What goes on? So explain it to me for people who don't really know, because you talk about the politics and everything like that. You're a good fighter. From the outside looking in, like, somebody who doesn't know anything about the business, or if you're just talking to somebody casually and they say, well, you're a good fighter. You got 10 knockouts. You got, you're beating everybody. How is it you're not getting fights? How is it you're not getting? I don't understand. What do you have to do to get fights? I thought that you just challenge somebody and they fight. What are the ins and outs here?
Ultimately, that's what I always thought. But for instance, right. Brandon Figueroa, he has a belt. We want to fight him. My people reached out to his people. His people said he's looking for an easier fight. For, I don't know if it's just coming back or because he just won the title. I don't know. But that's just, what I was told that his people said. So it's like, okay. And that's a little bit of politics behind that. And it's like, well, so I'm kind of X'd off the list. Let me go pick this guy. Or like a Stephen Fulton, you know, I tried to fight him in January. My people reached out to his people. They didn't want to fight. He chose whoever he fought. And, you know, that's, you know, the politics behind that. So you may get 2-3 guys. They say no to the 2. They say yeah to the 1. And that fight happens.
Yeah, it's got to be a frustrating thing. I mean, it's one of those things where you know you're ready, you're right there at the door, and it's got to be frustrating. How do you deal with like the rankings? You're ranked number 13 by the WBA right now. How does that? I mean, how does that play into things?
Well, if we're talking about rankings, you know, I seen Marcus Bates was ranked number 8, you know, and I beat him, and I'm like, how am I 13?
How's that even possible?
Right, I don't even know, but I guess it just goes on who you fight, who you beat, and then who they fought, and then who they beat. You know, if you're fighting 20 nobodies, you're at the bottom of the list. You know, if you're fighting 20 somebodies, you're at the, you know, the top tier. So that's kind of how that goes like that. And I feel like I should be number 8 or really number 1, but it just
who do you? I mean, you know, when those come out. All right, so this is a good. So when those ratings come out and you see that you're ranked number 13 and the dude you beat is ranked number 8, after throwing furniture across the room, who do you break a phone call off to? Like, hey, what's going on here? You know, I mean, you know, I'd be furious. I mean, it's got to be maddening, right?
I mean, honestly, I mean, I'm not the number 1. I'm not number 1 or number 2. So just in that aspect alone, I'm throwing furniture. You know, I'm not. It's just kind of like that. Like I want to be that number 1 spot. So the fact that I did beat somebody that that's currently number 8, it just kind of lets me know in my mind. It's like, okay, I'm truly number 8. You know, number 7, number 6, whatever. And the numbers just is what it is. But if we fight, I'll be able to showcase that to the world, and they will be able to see.
So, like Eric said, you're ranked number 13, and obviously you want to get that title shot. But you don't have that in the immediate future. Is there anyone else in that top 10 that you're going to be gunning for so you can advance yourself, almost put yourself in a position where they have to fight you?
Oh, well, for sure. I actually, I'm a huge fan of Stephen Fulton. You know, I think he's a world champion caliber fighter. You know, if there's new trainers out there training fighters, I believe he has a model jab. His record and his resume speaks for itself. So I would love that fight. I seen he did an interview. He said he wanted to fight like a Angelo Leo, but I don't think Angelo Leo wants that fight right now. Again, I got the pen. We can make this happen right now.
So because of the pandemic, everyone's been on the shelf for a while, and a lot of people are going to be apprehensive to jump right into a tough fight. What is your mentality about that? Are you like if a big tough fight comes down the pike for you right out of the gates, are you ready to grab that with 2 hands?
It's the nature of the beast. Yes, sir. You know, 100%. I've earned everything that I've gotten. Nothing's been handed to me, you know, so I'm waiting for that opportunity. Just like the opportunity came up with Adam Lopez. Every time I've stepped up, I've dominated. Yeah. So that tells me something. It should tell everybody else something too. I came off a 2.5-year layoff, moved to a new city. I was training myself, and I dominated Marcus Bates, who's ranked number 8. You know, I didn't just beat him, you know, I dominated. So every time I step up, it's just, you know, like I'm ready. I want that. That's why I'm in boxing. I want the big fights. I want to fight the best of the best, just like Stephen Fulton. I believe he's a world champion. He just hasn't had that fight yet, you know? So that's why I want to fight him. And we can do that next.
And that was a solid victory over Lopez. I believe you're only the second man to have stopped him, and you stopped him in 4 rounds, which is pretty impressive. That's a quick stoppage.
Thank you. Yeah,
he's a lot of hard work. He's a durable guy. He's normally a tough out, and you know you made short work of him. So that's
yeah. I mean, I didn't go out there gunning for the knockout. You know, I wanted to knock him out, but that wasn't my intent. Everything just kind of fell into place. Styles make fights. I just capitalized on some of the mistakes he made, and you know, I was fortunate enough to get the win and the stoppage.
How good does that feel? You go in there with the intent that, you know, I'm in there with a tough guy. I'm probably good chance I'm going to go the distance, but then you get the knockout. How good does that make you feel? Explain that when that just, because you seem like a guy that's a methodical type guy. Like you said, you know, I would think of you maybe as a boxer puncher more or less. And you're not like a guy that's going to go out there and force the knockout. You let it come. So that must be even sweeter for you when you get a stoppage like that in a fourth round.
Oh, well, one of my greatest attributes is I'm an action fighter. Like, people love watching me fight. You know, I'm throwing punches, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. You not only see skill, but you see action. Like, I'm not running,
Yeah.
I'm not holding. You know, and when people, oh, this guy's tough, he's so tough, and this and that, and I go out there and knock him out. So, you know, I just let that go in one ear and out the other. I'll be the judge of how tough this guy is. You know, I thought Lopez was tough, but I did what I did to him. You know, so I don't want to, oh, this guy's tough, oh, he's a world champion. I'll be the judge of that.
Yeah.
You know, so that's just kind of how I feel about that. It's just in one ear and out the other, and that's just through experience.
So when you go into the fights, you're not caring about the reputation. Everyone's the same. You look at everyone as the same, and you're not looking at this guy's, you know, up here and this guy's down here, whatever. Everyone's on the same level. That way you approach every fight the same, and you know your mentality. There's no letdown. You train the same for every guy. In other words.
Yeah. I mean, the beautiful thing about boxing is it only takes one punch. You know, it only takes one punch for me to knock him out. But I have to be smart enough and humble enough to understand it only takes one punch for me to be knocked out.
Correct.
You know, so I approach every fight the same. Every fight, like Lopez, I'm training like he's a world champion. You know, like I put in the work. You know, like jogging 10 miles, 12 miles, or doing this or doing that. You know, I'm doing whatever it takes to be the best I can be and to win. Like I recently got into yoga not too long ago. You know, it's all the little things. You know.
Now, is this something, let me ask you a question. Like, you know, you said you're like, you know, obviously we know you're an action type fighter. You describe yourself as an action type fighter. How well does this play off? I mean, because you would think with an action type fighter, I mean, you're going to get a lot of fights. You can get a lot of options, but it doesn't really work that way sometimes, right?
No, it really doesn't. I mean, you would think, you know, but it's and that just kind of ties into the politics. You know, maybe there are people don't want to fight you, or is this or is that, or you know. So ultimately, if I continue on the path that I'm going, they'll be forced to. You know, sometimes there's contingencies like mandatories. So that is the situation I have to put myself in. So they can't run. It's mandatory, and that's the ultimate goal.
But here's the bad news about the mandatories. If you read those, those rules, you can be the mandatory, but then you have to still fight 10 eliminators, and then it says even though you're the mandatory, the WBC, for instance, we have the right to not give you the fight. We are the ones that enforce the mandatory. In other words, even though you're the mandatory, there's always like a catch-22 where they don't have to give you a fight. Look at Dillian White. Look how long this guy's been ranked number one, and he's been promised title shot. This guy's been he was ranked number one for like 3 years, and guys ranked below him became the mandatory. It's just absurd.
And I feel that's the politics behind it. It's just kind of like, what else can you do but stay on your grind and keep winning? I mean, you keep winning, it's gonna happen. But man, like 3 years. Whew.
but on a positive note, you do have PBC behind you. You are connected to a very reputable organization, so that in itself is very positive.
That's a big one, man.
That, but also being managed by Greg Hanley and Prince Ranch Boxing. I'm very blessed to be a part of that. I can't stress that enough. Like, I truly am. Coming from Michigan, no family, no friends, no support system, not really knowing what I'm gonna do, but I believed in myself and I hit the ground running because that's what I had to do to get to where I'm at now. And
correct me if I'm wrong.
That's the crazy part. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Beeb.
I apologize, Eric. Correct me if I'm wrong. When you first started out, and you turned pro, you were still working at another job at the time. Is that correct or no? So
yeah.
Talk about the challenges of that, because I remember going to like the Somerville Boxing Club here in Massachusetts, and I would see guys like bring their work gear in and then go and change, like working construction all day, and then change and train at night. How difficult is that?
Oh, it's extremely difficult. You have to manage your time right, training, everything. enough, the managers that I worked with liked me, corporate, everybody liked me and everything. And there was they knew that I fought, and they kind of like worked with me if I need to go out of town to maybe to fight, do this or that. But it's definitely challenging, you know, right out of work, working 8 hours, boom, going straight to the gym to spar somebody who's just been doing nothing all day, you know, and stuff like that. Or you have to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go train and then go to work. It's very challenging, but trials and tribulations.
100%.
That's a big deal, man. How often do you get back to Michigan?
You know, I'm able to touch back down every now and then, check in with some family and friends and stuff like that. I'm actually I'm waiting to get some type of a title so I can go out and kind of make it a big deal, you know. You know, 'cause I have a big fan base there, but just want to make it a big deal, and just also inspire the youth. You know, like, I'm from here, and if you stay committed, this is a possibility. You know, this can happen.
That's a big deal. That's a big deal to go back to your hometown like that, you know?
No.
Yeah. Very good, man. Very good. Well, do you have a social media, like a Twitter or anything like that you can give us?
Oh, well, I have Instagram. I'm on Instagram. Yeah, I'm trying to upload more videos. It's just harder because it's like when I'm in the gym, it's tunnel vision. You know, I'm not doing it for the clout. But I'm not even working out and stuff like that. No, I don't do that. You know, so I don't go to the gym and I have 20 cheerleaders, you know, all recording me. It's straight tunnel vision. Whether that's the boxing gym, the fitness gym, yoga, it doesn't matter. That's just how I've literally always been. And
well, you know what? I don't buy the excuses. I got to be honest, Raeese. I don't buy the excuses why you can't get on social media. I mean, you're in Vegas. You can have 20 cheerleaders anytime you want. Anytime. I mean, what else have you got to do besides be on social media? What do you go to the gym and train? I mean, come on.
You can find me on Instagram.
We want to see you on there at the car dealers, picking up cars, Ferraris and Benzes and stuff like that, you know, and at the jewelers, getting handmade jewelry up, you know. I mean, come on, man. Step up your game.
No, well, okay, so you can find me on social media, on my Instagram at Raeese Aleem Boxing. The ultimate goal is to do exactly what you said, is to upload more videos of what I do, how I prepare, and how, you know, and all that. So that's the ultimate goal for sure.
Absolutely, man.
Any beefs yet on Instagram or no?
Nah, no beefs yet. You know,
we got to start a beef with him, Beeb. We got to get this guy on the mat. Let's start a beef with him.
Look, I'd say I'd beef with Stephen Fulton, but I'm a huge fan. You know, he's an amazing fighter, and I just want the opportunity. You know, if he wants to fight another undefeated fighter, a real dog, let's make that fight happen. You know,
be a man, Stephen Fulton. Step up. Be a man. Tell him to be a man.
If he thinks he can beat me, okay, then what's the problem? You know, so we'll see. We'll see.
Calling US, he's going to knock out Stephen Fulton. That's what he said right here on this radio wave here. He said he's going to knock out Stephen Fulton in the 30 seconds. That's what he said. Raeese, look at him flexing. The beast, son. The beast. Love it.
I got the pen ready. Hey, I got the pen ready.
Gotta make a shirt. You gotta get a shirt. I got the pen ready.
How's
that? Good idea.
I got you. Next time I'm on, I'm rocking it. Right.
I know. We got to get shirts like that, Beeb.
I got the pen ready.
I got the pen. Yeah, that's right. I got the pen ready. That's what you got to put on there.
I like that.
I'm keeping the same energy that I'm bringing from 2019 into 2020. You know, I was stopping out of the last 5 guys I've fought, I've stopped 4. You know, and I'm keeping that same energy going all year. You know, like, that's the goal. If that's what I got to do to make noise, if that's what I got to do to get the respect I feel like I deserve in the boxing community, that's what I'm gonna do. You know, so
there it is.
Gotcha.
All right, man. Well, I tell you what, we appreciate you coming on, man. Hey, next time when you sign a fight, come back on. Let us know and everything like that, man. Come back on here for sure, man.
Oh yeah. Sound good. Thank you for having me. Again, man, I can't wait to get a fight date. I'm ready. So stay tuned.
Awesome, man. Right, Thank you so much, man. We appreciate it. Have a good one.
All right.